We are Sex Bomb, and we're here to make you think about death and get sad and stuff.
My all-time favorite movie for the longest time has always been Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I love this movie so much. I've seen it dozens of times, and I know it pretty much in its entirety. People often ask me why this movie is overtly my favorite. Okay, so no one actually asked me, but I really wish they would because I have so much to say about this movie. It's so unique, and I really wish the more blockbuster movies would learn from what it does so well. Its humor, action, wit, and attention to detail make it such a fun experience to watch. One thing that Scott Pilgrim does that I feel is missing from mainstream movies, however, is his beautiful use of surrealism. Today, we're talking about how director Edgar Wright uses surrealism in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Surrealism is quite simply the opposite of realism. Taking reality and going past it to create something that's really more of a representation of what's happening rather than objective truth. In cinema, this is the action of making a scene very stylized, making things big and eccentric and hyperbolizing an idea. Having this not be what really is going on, but more of a representation of how one would feel or perceive the action in that moment. Let's give an example. In the almost Academy Award winning film La La Land,
There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
I know. Whose job was that one? The director litters surrealism throughout the entire film. Take the scene in the observatory, for example. Here, Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling's characters have come to the observatory for a romantic evening and to sing a few award-winning musical numbers. When the music comes in and they start to dance, the scene shifts from us viewing what is happening to viewing what the two characters are feeling. And yeah, if I was alone with Ryan Gosling at night, I would feel like I was flying too, Emma. Clearly, the two haven't left the original setting, as we can see from the end of the number, nor have they actually danced around in space. This is a visual metaphor to tell us exactly how these characters feel in this exact moment, and in my opinion, it does so really well. This is a meticulous depiction of their emotions, as opposed to realism that would just place a camera in front of two actors and have us draw our own conclusions.
Stopped by a cop in Amsterdam, it's illegal for them to search you. I mean, that's the right that cops in Amsterdam don't have.
Oh man, I'm going. That's all it is to it. I'm fucking going.
However, La La Land can get away with its use of style more easily because musicals are inherently surreal. No one actually just breaks out into song about whatever emotion they're feeling. So that brings us to Scott Pilgrim. Now that we know what modern surrealism looks like, it's so easy to see that it's everywhere in Scott Pilgrim. Here, 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 and here.
Scott, what?
It's smart and it's abundant, and it's apparent that it leaves you wondering what in this movie is actually real and what's not. As opposed to talking about what makes it surreal, instead let's talk about how surrealism makes it better. First off, you're able to convey emotion quickly and effectively by diving into the mind of characters. Take this scene for example.
It's not gonna work out. Oh.
Here we get all the information about Scott's ethical dilemma and how he feels about it in a matter of seconds. Panel 1, Scott is on the bus. Panel 2, knives. Panel 3, Scott is sad about dumping knives. Panel 4, knives disappears. Panel 6, different angle on Scott showing a shift in the scene. Panel 7, Ramona. Panel 8, same as the original shot, but now Scott has gone from upset to excited, and we know exactly why, because the movie shows us. Jumping into Scott's mind lends to great storytelling, but also great comedy.
How old is she? I gotta pee on her. I gotta pee.
Edgar Wright uses every function of film to tell jokes. The visuals,
This is a nightmare.
The sound,
Maybe first and a half.
the dialogue,
You get fat.
No, why would I get fat?
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
and the action.
Got here?
You know what? He just left.
Every Framer Painting did a really interesting video on using Edgar Wright's visual style of comedy, which I highly recommend. I'll link it in the description so you can watch it after this one. The surrealism also helps the whole flow of the story, being able to piece together seemingly unrelated scenes so that it doesn't feel like cuts or ends to scenes, but a flowing, cohesive story. It makes you feel like you're going down a slide as opposed to a staircase. The transitions build off the end of the last scene, and while one fades out, the next fades in. This is used even to introduce characters and the relation between them. So yeah, pretty much I think Scott Pilgrim is one of the smartest design films of all time, and it holds the specialist place in my heart. It's pretty safe to say that I wish all movies adopted this clever style of surrealism to tell more interesting and complex stories. And who knows, maybe Scott Pilgrim's style of films will have a comeback. So guys, thanks for watching. This wasn't really like a comedy video or anything. It wasn't like Roommates, but it was something that I really wanted to do because I love this movie. And so let me know if this is actually interesting and if you want to hear me talk about other movies and things that I like. Then, so there'll probably be annotations to our wackier stuff. Feel free to click on those. Subscribe.